I'm cashing a sim at the moment, so I think it's a good opportunity for me to talk about some of the thoughts I've had. I was sitting in my desk a couple nights ago, working, and the sunset exploded all across the Auckland sky. There was just no other way to describe it. It's been pretty tough trying to lock in during summer in New Zealand because of my line of work, which is VFX. Locking in means staying indoors and staring at my computer all day. And almost every day, if it's a good day, Auckland throws these banging sunsets at me, and it's almost impossible not to feel guilty about missing out on life, especially since that I don't currently have a job. With a job, I can at least justify it by telling myself that I was doing what I must. Therefore, the sunset was missed. For the past 3 months of me not having a job, that excuse was gone. And every day at dusk, I look outside and have to face the fact that the sunset is beautiful, it is ephemeral, and I have made a conscious choice not to be on top of a mountain somewhere to take it all in. From what I can remember, this is the second time in my career that I have had continuous unemployment like this, with no end in sight. The first time was when I was first starting out as a 3D artist. I had just quit my job at a big studio in Beijing as a production assistant because I was a little burned out and I wanted to transition into being an artist. After I quit, I downloaded Blender and was just hammering away at it day and night and working whatever odd jobs I could find. There was just no other objective other than making the image I have formed in my head appear as pixels on my screen, by whatever means I had at my disposal. I started out making still renders and posting them on Instagram. I was happy with my work, but I knew deep down that it wouldn't be enough to land me a job. When I ran into a former colleague at the gym, she asked how my transition into being an artist was going. I showed her my Instagram posts. It was very unimpressive, and she tried her best to be polite, but I knew what the problem was. After that, I started venturing into rendering sequences, and the difficulty jumped a few octaves. For stills, all I ever needed to worry about was a single render, and compositing was basically just tweaking in Photoshop. For sequences, all of a sudden I needed to learn to do things the right way. Learn about render settings, simulations, animation, scene layout, render passes, and motion blur. I was still only learning the bare minimum, and pushed whatever shots I was doing out. But doing that transformed my portfolio, and after a few months, I had my very first demo reel as a 3D artist in hand. I showed the same coworker again, and I got the reaction I was looking for. It was a seal of approval that I was onto something. It was still a very amateurish reel, if you're a real 3D artist working in the industry, but it was what I was able to produce at the time. With this reel, I got a job working at a small advertising studio. After a year there, I moved on to the mill in Shanghai, where I got to learn Houdini on the job. It wouldn't have been possible if I hadn't put in the time to make this very amateurish reel in my bedroom in Beijing. After I started working full-time as a 3D artist, I stopped noticing sunsets for long stretches of time. I would only catch daylight when I went into work. By the time I left, it would already been dark. Personal projects halted completely as I was gainfully employed. All the anxiety that fueled personal projects was gone. I had reached the end of history and now only had to worry about leaving work on time. Now in 2026, all the way out here in Auckland, New Zealand, I found a predicament I'm in very similar to when I was just starting out. Now I have a reel full of work on feature films and commercials. Deep down, I just had this gnawing feeling that it wasn't an impressive reel. I went to Melbourne last year for an event and got a chance to show my reel to an industry veteran. I found him trying very hard to be polite, just like my ex-coworker did when I first showed her my Instagram page in Beijing. After he got done watching, he gave me this very honest feedback. There's just nothing in this reel that wowed me. And that is the problem I'm solving right now. Create something in my reel that wows supervisors. Though the outcome of that still depends on other people's reactions, which is beyond my control. I still find the task, make something cool enough to wow people, easier than the alternative. Get into big studios, so my reel will be filled with blockbusters. Because it is 100% within my power to keep creating work and hope against hope that something will eventually stick. But I can control my acceptance into one of the bigger studios. I don't know when I will find my footing again, but if I had to go by my time in Beijing, I am certain that all my work will eventually pay off. There has been many sunsets since I left Beijing. Some I remember for being good sunsets, and some were just there to help usher in the night. But one thing is certain, that it will get dark after the last bit of daylight burned up. But without fail, dawn will follow after the darkness of the night. It's just how things are. Nothing's forever, neither the good nor the bad. No matter what happens, tomorrow will come, and it will be a new day.